The grand ballroom of New York's most luxurious hotel looked like something out of a dream. Dozens of golden chandeliers glowed from the high ceiling, their light bouncing off polished marble floors. The air shimmered with laughter, crystal glasses clinking, and the low hum of an orchestra tucked neatly in the corner. Waiters moved silently, balancing trays of champagne and hors-d'oeuvres as if they were part of a well-rehearsed dance. Every detail screamed wealth. Diamond bracelets flashed under the lights, silk gowns shimmered, and tuxedos were cut so sharp they looked like they could slice through paper. But more than anything, the room buzzed with power. The hosts, the Harrington family, were no strangers to it. They weren't just rich, they were legendary. For over a century, their empire had stretched across oil fields, Wall Street banks, real estate towers, and political influence. They were the kind of family people whispered about. The kind of family that could make or break careers with a single phone call. This wasn't just a party. It was their annual spectacle, a way of reminding the world who they were and how high. Above everyone else they stood. Then, as the orchestra shifted into a softer tune, the grand double doors opened. A woman stepped in. She wasn't dripping in diamonds. She didn't wear a gown with a 10-foot train, yet the room fell quieter when she entered, as though her presence had weight. Her posture was straight, her expression calm, and her aura unmistakably commanding. Her name was Emma Jackson. Emma wasn't born into money. She wasn't raised in privilege. She had grown up in a modest neighborhood in Atlanta, the daughter of a nurse and a mechanic. Life had never handed her anything. She had clawed her way, up through grit and sleepless nights. In college, she had worked double shifts at diners just to afford tuition. She remembered studying by a dim desk lamp at 3 in the morning while her classmates partied. She remembered the sting of rejection, letters from investors who dismissed her not because of her ideas, but because of who she was. "Your idea is good," one venture capitalist had told her years ago. "But maybe you should find a partner who looks a little more traditional." She had swallowed that insult, turned it into fuel, and built Jackson Enterprises from scratch. Today, her company was a global powerhouse in pharmaceuticals and technology, known for groundbreaking drugs and innovations that were saving lives around the world. And tonight, she was here to finalize a $5 billion merger deal with the Harringtons. But the whispers started almost instantly. "Who invited her?" hissed a woman draped in pearls. "She doesn't belong here," muttered a man with a champagne glass. "She might be rich, but she'll never be one of us," sneered a Harrington cousin, smirking as his friends chuckled. Emma heard it all. The sting was sharp, but she didn't falter. She walked further into the ballroom, her heels clicking against the marble floor, every step calm and measured. She carried herself like she belonged, not because of anyone's permission, but because she had earned it. At the head table, Charlotte Harrington, Richard Harrington's daughter, raised her glass and smirked. "Oh, look," she said loudly, "the self-made billionaire has arrived." "Isn't that adorable?" The laughter that followed was sharp, cruel, and deliberate. Emma's jaw tightened for half a second. Inside, her mind flickered back again, to her mother working night shifts, to her father wiping grease off his hands after long hours in the garage, telling her, "Don't let anyone tell you what you're worth, baby girl. You decide that." That voice steadied her. She smiled. Emma sat down across from Richard Harrington, the patriarch himself. His silver hair was neatly combed, his tuxedo perfect, his reputation even sharper. They called him the Shark of Wall Street. One look into his cold, calculating eyes and you could see why. "Emma," Richard said smoothly, "thank you for joining us. But let me be frank. A deal of this size, it's not just about profit. It's about fit, culture, prestige." Emma tilted her head, calm as ever. "I agree. Alignment matters in every partnership," she replied. Charlotte leaned in again, smirking. "Exactly. And let's be honest. Do you really see someone like her fitting into this?" She waved her hand around the ballroom as if Emma's very presence was the punchline. "I mean, just look at us." "And look at her." Her voice dripped with venom. Laughter followed once more. The orchestra played on, but in that moment the music felt distant. The room seemed to shrink, all eyes on Emma. Emma let the silence hang for a moment. Then she leaned forward, her gaze locking onto Richard Harrington's. "You know what's interesting? She began, her voice calm but slicing through the air like a blade. I came here tonight prepared to finalize a $5 billion partnership. A deal that could reshape industries, open doors for innovation, and benefit millions of people. She paused. Her words echoed in the silence. But business isn't just about numbers. It's about respect. And from where I'm sitting, there is none here. The laughter died instantly. The smirks vanished. Even the clinking of glasses stopped. Richard's eyes narrowed. Charlotte shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Emma stood up, tall and steady. So I'll make this very simple. Jackson Enterprises will not be moving forward with this deal. Consider it canceled. The reaction was explosive. Gasps rippled through the hall. Someone dropped their champagne glass, the sharp shatter echoing off the marble. People whispered frantically, unable to believe what they had just heard. Richard Harrington's face turned pale. Emma, wait, he said, his voice sharper now. Let's discuss this. $5 billion doesn't just vanish overnight. Emma turned, her gaze unwavering. $5 billion means nothing if it costs me dignity. Tonight, your family proved what I already suspected, that money can buy a lot of things, but not respect, not class, and certainly not integrity. Her words were like thunder. And then she walked. Each step echoed with authority, her heels striking the marble like a drumbeat. The crowd instinctively parted for her. Some lowered their heads in shame. Others stared at her in awe. When she reached the doors, she paused just briefly and looked back. For the record, she said clearly, you didn't lose me tonight. You lost the future. And with that, she was gone. The room was silent. For the first time, the Harringtons looked small. By the next morning, the world knew. Headlines screamed across every major outlet. Black CEO walks away from 5B deal with Harringtons. Clips of Emma's speech went viral. Millions watched, shared, and praised her courage. Entrepreneurs around the world, especially women and minorities, felt a surge of pride. They saw her as proof that dignity mattered more than deals, and that you could succeed without bowing to arrogance. Meanwhile, the Harrington empire shook. Their stock dropped sharply. Investors questioned their judgment. Their arrogance, once seen as confidence, was now mocked as insecurity. But Emma, her company soared. Her reputation soared even higher. She had shown the world something priceless, the courage to walk away when respect wasn't on the table. Power isn't about how much money you have or how prestigious your family name is. True power comes from self-respect, courage, and the ability to walk away from anyone who doesn't see your value. If this story inspired you, take it to heart. Never let anyone make you feel like you don't belong. Respect yourself enough to leave rooms where you are not valued. Share this story with others so they remember. Dignity is priceless. And sometimes the most powerful word you can say is no.